Oh, hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grim dark distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest nigh unbinary all world magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Hi, possum. How are you? I am cutting off the little kind of grip. I'm trying to think of what that is. Back at work. Boo. Are you feeling better? Hopefully you feel better. I'm sorry they made you go back to work. Yeah, that's good. Back at work. Well, I think we are done getting rain, so I'm also sad. So, while looking at this guy, I was just thinking, hey, I think I want to remove those parts of the harness that go on the top of the head, around the mouth, and I think that was a good choice. I'm not feeling as good as I did yesterday, but feeling much better than Sunday night. Well, that's good. Also, Barkira? What is that? What is that? Barkira. So, I printed out a bunch of Necropolis stuff. I'm going to get to this here in just a second. I just need to show you this guy because he is so silly and I love him. Look at this little guy. Look at that little guy go. Oh man. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. What a great little guy. And also printed out some of these little, posted the Barkira trailer in my body's temp. Oh, okay, nice. No, I will check that out. I saw you posted something. I did not have a moment to look at it when I saw it though. And then here is the little, one of the little spiders. So cute. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna die. Printed out a bunch of skulls. Printed out all of the Necropolis files that I've got. So I'm pretty excited about that. We are going to be playing some Necropolis this weekend. So I'm looking forward to it and trying to get stuff printed. Printed out the first of the tiles. Printed out the first, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to show you this. Printed out the first of the tiles that goes to the very bottom of the Mordheim board, the Underworld. Pretty cool. We are printing the very last tile for the, is a fan animation of The Simpsons this year. Well, fuck. Okay, yeah, I'm in, baby. That's so good. I don't even watch The Simpsons. I don't know if I've ever watched an entire episode of The Simpsons. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if you saw, but Tim, Howling Mad Lupin, made a game, and I was the model for half of the poster. The Hobby YouTubers Deathmatch. And then I started to look into the rules of the game, and I was like, oh man, how would I make myself? And that was like a level of like self-analyzation that's not my preferred type. I don't like giving myself like attribute points. It's like, well, how on a numerical level? A grade. It feels very much like a grade. I did see that one of these stats though was YouTube clout, and it's just like, oh boy, I'm assuming mine's like -1. Like, ain't nobody on YouTube know me. If you're here, you probably, well, that's not true. You didn't get here because someone was like, oh man, go check out this guy. I either popped up or you already knew me, I'd say. Statistically speaking. Oh no, an eyeball fell out. And then a bunch of fucking super glue came out with it. Where'd that eyeball go? There it is. We're not doing this again today. We are done fucking around with eyeballs for this project. Not doing it again. That's why I don't do 2 shows in one night. Won't do it. Actually found you from everyone talking about your stuff after Visterian. Oh, really? Well, that's fun. I like that. Well, it wasn't anybody on YouTube talking about me. Well, maybe it was. I don't know. I don't keep track of my own shit. I don't know how people know me. Too many names, too many faces of my own. Not you all. I know your names and faces. Bum, bum, bum. So, what are we doing with these kitties today? I've cut that off, and then you started live streaming on Instagram. Yeah, that is true. Man, it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I started streaming. I know when I go to update my broadcast every morning, I have to change it, and it says May. It's like May is the last date that it was like altered, I guess, saved as. So it's kind of weird every day, like changing it from like, I think May 9th. I think that's when I started using, that might have been when I switched to YouTube. It was around May, but maybe not. That sounds later than it was. I don't think it was. Anywho. All right, we got a bunch of kitties. What are we gonna do with these kitties? So you guys need some little hooves, but I'm thinking it's probably best if we do those while attached, but then we're gonna have to cut part of that wire. That's okay, I think. Is there a hole? There's not already a hole. We're gonna put one right there. So, no, I put those on there so I could sculpt on them while they were held in place. Do you know my face? From the internet. What you painting here? I'm not actually painting anything today. I'm just going to be doing some sculpting and building. I'm still trying to get my Mordheim warband, my Beastmen Raiders, which are cat boys. They're all cat boys. Whole lot of cats. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And I'm debating if I want to, do I want to mess with sculpting heads more, or do I want to start getting into the bodies? But I think I need to just finish some heads up. If anything, I know this guy is needing to be done. So let's get in on that. Also, good morning, Adam Mules. Welcome. Good to have you. Good to have you. Oh my goodness. There is a fluffy bear sitting on the top of the tower. Oh my gosh. What a cute baby boy. Hi, Theo. He's just hanging out with me. All right, where the did I put those? They are in here. Where you at? Where is all my metal sheets? There they are. Actually, that might be a little overkill. That's overkill, right? No, it's not. It's for the jaw. The jaw's gonna have teeth. We're gonna be pushing on it. Oh, nice. Is that Age of Sigmar? So it's Mordheim. So Mordheim is a old game. It's dead now. That which is dead can never truly die. Let me see. Where's the rule book? Where you at? There you are. Mordheim. This game came out in 1999. Yeah, 1999, baby. But yeah, this is Mordheim. So if you're familiar with the game Trench Crusade, this is the game that the gentleman, Tomas, who wrote the rules for Trench Crusade, this is the game that he is probably most known for. It is a skirmish game. Taking place in the old world. So back when Warhammer Fantasy was still a thing before it was killed and then brought back. This takes place a good chunk of time before the timeline was in a city called Mordheim that is hit by a comet. Giant comet hits the city, scatters weird stone everywhere, kills damn near everybody, mutates a whole bunch of stuff, and essentially groups from all over and all different walks of life make their way to Mordheim to try and scavenge and find valuable bits to take back for whatever reason. It's a terrible idea. Don't go in there. My guys are just Catboy Beastmen raiders, so they're there to just do some raiding and beastmen. Like they're there to beastmen it up. So yeah, I'm excited. I love Mordheim. I've never gotten to actually play the tabletop. I've played a ton of the PlayStation adaptation of it, which is pretty close, but it's nowhere near as what it could be by being on a tabletop. But always been a big fan. I've never had a group to play with, but now I do. So I've got to get these done. Once we get those done, we're off to the Necropolis. Well, I mean, technically I'm working on the Necropolis at the same time. You know how it is. Okay, so first things first. Let's take a sip of coffee. Coffee. And then let's start making some mandibles. So, how big is your jaw? It's not very big. We're going to go with something like that, just until I've worked out exactly how we want to do this. So the first thing, we want it to go up. So a mandible, here I am without a mandible. Let's see. Actually, I have one for reference. No, I'm not going to grab a mandible. I know what a mandible looks like. I can do this. I can sculpt this off the top of my head. It's a U shape. So, oh, hey, duh. I remember now. I was like, how do I go about starting this? We're going to cut that little piece out. We're going to bend this a little bit. That's how we are going to go about getting our mandible shape. Because the bones go down, and they go over, turn, go up. So that's what we want. And then we're going to go back in, we're going to snip. Yes, Possum, I would recognize you in a lineup. Just haven't met in person. But I'm like, that's that good Possum boy. I know that. I know that, Possum. All right. The U. Strange U. All right. 1999, baby. Okay. That looks good to me. So there's our mandible. Now we're going to take that. We're going to glue it up underneath of here. But we want to make sure that we've got a little spot for it. So let's come in on this side. We're going to score a little bit of a line right there. And we're going to score a little bit of a line right here. And I'm going to grab a chisel. Gotta be chiseling away. Where the hell did my chisels go? There they are. Now this one's probably a little bit thicker than we need. It's still very, very thin, one millimeter. But it'll be good. It'll be good. As far as Age of Sigmar, though, yeah, technically, like Beastmen from Age of Sigmar, it's the same Beastmen, just an earlier game. Okay, so we've got some little notches now. Where that's going to go, those are snips. I feel like this might be a little too beefy, so we're going to snip that up too. Beastmen are no longer in Sigmar. They get to, wait, what? Why? That's crazy. Why would they do that? I mean, there's all kinds of questions I could ask that about, but why would they take out Beastmen? That's insane. Are they not, like, they're just not in Age of Sigmar at all? Man, GW, you'd be wildin' these days. Why would they delete the Beastmen? That is glued in there real good. Weezers. Shankly. Hello. Hello there. Dear Shankly. Doopa goopa. So we're going to go ahead and snip a little bit more off that mandible. AOS getting rid of Beastmen is dumb. Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy. Didn't have ranges in both games and they wanted them in Old World. Okay, what now? So they're like, what the fuck? That's so dumb. Can't have ranges in both. I mean, I absolutely understand that that's for sure probably what they were thinking. That is really dumb from a lore standpoint, since, I mean, one world came from the other. And like one of them was utterly destroyed by chaos, which is how the whole like Age of Sigmar thing started to happen. Why would they get rid of Chaos Beastmen? That's real dumb. I'm disgusted. Disgusted and appalled, my sweets. I'm gonna write a letter. I'm not gonna write a letter. I got my 500 pounds of, holy shit. That's a lot. That's a lot of Middle-earth strategy battle game. I'm down for it though. I'm here for that. It's a lot of Rohirrim. That's probably where we're going with it, right there. Yeah. The Rohirrim, they've come from Rohan. I like a random Horn of Gondor every now and then. The Horn of Gondor! That's going to be good. It's entirely because it's two separate departments and they compete financially with each other. That is absolutely... didn't want to talk about, I didn't want to get into the, you know, my typical stick about corpo bullshit. But that, yeah, absolutely reeks of just corpo stupid bullshittery. And I don't fuck with that. That's real dumb. That's so dumb. Par for the course, but still real fucking dumb. Man. We're gonna have to wait for that to dry. That's gonna be good though. Awesome. Can you help me with the list centered around the Goblin Town goblins? I'm sure Possum could. Gotta finish my necro babies today for Sunday. Steve, were you here when I zoomed in on this little necro baby? Look at this little necro baby. Look at him go. Ooh-wee. There he is. Oh my goodness. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. So great, so cute. Love them. Also these little spiders. Oh my gosh, so cute. I know. I printed you one out too, buddy. Yeah. Got some little duders printed. Old Norms. No problem. I was like, I know someone who would love that. It's Steve. For MES BG proper. Middle Earth strategy battle game. Can you be shit, what's it? Tom Bombadil? Can I be Tom Bombadil in Middle Earth strategy battle game? Also, I gotta say, like, I don't know, there's just not enough nightmare fuel in Lord of the Rings for me to be like, that's what I really like. That's what I want to see. I mean, I like a good Balrog, don't get me wrong. And the Watcher in the Dark, it's also good. And there's a lot of really gnarly goblins. Yeah, okay. Spiders are cute. They look like they are right out of thing. They really do. I love how much they look like the drawings that Martin has scattered throughout the rule book. God, I love Martin's artwork for Necropolis. It's so good. You can be the ghost guys. Never played it, and I don't know where to even build list. Oh. I have no idea what I'm doing with it. Hi, Adam. Also, hey, welcome. We're gonna, Tom Bombadil would be OP. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, he's, I love these, just the Christ figure from Lord of the Rings. It's just like, very early on, he's like, oh, nice ring. Very fancy. Here you go. All right. Fuck off. And then just kind of goes back into his barrows. Just the one guy that has no desire to fuck with any of it. Be the Tom Bombadil you wanna see in the world. Yeah, there we go. Gonna snip up a little kitty mandible, snipping it up real good, making it nice and small. There we go. Now to straighten that back out because it got a little bent. There you go. Get back in there. Now his mouth. We're getting there. Kind of currently looks like one of the Age of Sigmar ghost mouths. They just kind of like that. But it's going to look more like a saber-tooth kind of tiger kind of thing once we're done, once that's stride. Okay, so we got that in place. Next up, we're probably going to glue a little bit. I'm not going to do that. That's going to be silly. We're just going to use foil. Sunday, we should play the game Tim made. I am down to. I am down to play the game that Tim made. I was just discussing that trying to give myself stats is a little anxiety inducing. Outside of YouTube clout, which I feel like is like 1, unless it can go lower, I feel like my creativity would be pretty high. Weapon wise, I absolutely would pick hobby knife. I think that's pretty clear. If I only have one tool and I'm left on a deserted island, it's going to be like an X-Acto blade, a hobby knife. Now, how that comes into play here, it's just, well, if it's the only tool I'm going to take with me to survive on an island, I'm probably going to be okay with it in a match of words. Also, typically I just have a hobby knife on me. Is the other opponent Mike, Kit Bash Chaos? Yeah. Yeah, Tim messaged me about that yesterday. And he was like, I think I need you for something. And I was like, oh, well, I would love to help in any way that I can. What is it? And then he showed me what it was. And I was like, oh, well, now I really want to do that. And then on my story, I had to include the quote from Kelly when I got back to it from Adepticon, which was, you can't just go around smooching boys without their consent. And it's just, I feel that is wilder the less context you have. But it's, shit. What is his name? I know that one of them was Adam. Adam was the second smooch, and that one was with consent. It was the previous one. Fuck. Hivescom. Terry. I gave Terry a smooch on the cheek. And he was like, oh my goodness. And Kelly was just like, you can't just go around smooching boys without their consent. And I was like, well, he said thank you so much afterwards. And then Adam was standing there, and I said, well, I mean, I don't want you to feel left out. But it wasn't like just a little cheek smooch. So it needs to be said. 2 really great people. It's awesome. No, they're great. Great dudes. And also Kit Bash Mike is great too. Kit Bash Chaos Mike. Boop boop boop. I don't know if I've met Mike. I don't know if I've met Mike. But now you can figure out how that would go down on your own if Mike and I met. Or any YouTuber for that for that matter. Or yourself as one. It's a fun time for the whole family. Just no smooches without consent. Just covering that. Gotta cover my bases. End strange rant. So the reason that we're doing this, I don't want to fuck with it with Mike's Lorazine for Huss, more time, more ban. Another dice is sick. I have not looked into that. I will look at that though. HUS. There we go. So my other blade wasn't sharp enough to really get that. This is alrighty. Now, if you're wondering, hey, why did you do that with the foil? That is to create skin underneath. I don't want to have that open while I'm trying to sculpt. I would like for it to be closed, so we need to close it. And the easiest way to do that, I think, and the quickest, is going to be with foil and super glue. Because then it's pretty much instantly set. Whereas if I use green stuff, one, it's open down here on the bottom. So I'm constantly going to be fighting to keep it from going too far. While I'm working sculpting, this just adds a layer to act as almost a backstop to sculpt against. I typically prefer sculpting against things like that. So yeah, that's gonna be good. Let's make a spoopy face for our kitty boy shaman, chosen by the gods. He's the one who talks to the gods. They said hi. Hi. That's exactly what I would want. I would want. Just be like, oh, I've got to go commune with the gods. And it's just like, what'd they say? Well, it just kind of sounded like the drag queen Alaska going hi the entire time. So I don't know, man. Maybe we'll just try our luck, see how it goes. Maybe the gods are paying attention. And then you do a bottle roll, which would be when all you guys get killed and you're trying to not to completely lose your warband. The gods of Mordheim are fickle, as they should be. Thrown down a well. 15 years, thrown down a well, no trial. Let's sculpt a spoopy face for my shaman kitty boy. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to zoom back out though. That's too much. How about right here? That seems like a reasonable distance, Eli. Dial it in. I have got to change where my camera is. Got to bring it over here. I need to, yeah, I'll check that out for us, Mordheim, Warband. Us. I don't know what group the Huss would be. Human. I'm assuming they're a human group, probably a mercenary group, which mercenaries are always fun. Now I have made Mordheim minis before. I made one for Eric's Undead. I made his vampire. It's spoopy and it's supposed to be invisible. That was for the Mordheim 20... Shit, was that 2023? 23? I have no idea. It's been so long. I don't remember when the Mordheim event was that I made that vampire for. But essentially, it's supposed to take place timeline-wise the same amount of time from the event from the game's initial release. So time has just gone on. Mordheim has gotten worse and worse and worse. Weirdstone, whichever one you prefer. The more you're around it, the more it mutates, the more it corrupts. So essentially, by living there for so long, this vampire, was that 2019? 2019, okay. Fuck. That's wild. Yeah, so 2019 is when I made the vampire for Eric's. But it's got a lot of not connected parts because it's supposed to be invisible. It has stayed so long in Mordheim that it has become Bill's Mordheim First 2022. Damn, man, that's nuts. That is nuts. Yeah, it's been in Mordheim for so long that it's lost its corporeal form. So it's typically invisible until it just starts getting covered in gore, and then you can see it. So pretty much the parts that were visible were just smattered in blood, but its mouth had fused close. Like part of the mutation was its mouth fused close. So instead, it had to make a new mouth. So the model has its neck from like here to here opened and like pinned like a funnel, and it walks upside down like this, just ripping people open over top of the funnel. So that's also why it was just covered in gore, is it had to have a way to feed itself. Yeah, those are the things that pop in my head. I don't know. Yeah, my hair's in the way. Let's do this thing. I'm gonna get some green stuff, and we're gonna start working on some kitty teeth. Now, do you need... I think you do. I'm probably gonna do a little bit of foil in there as well. Also, is that angle good? We might want it to go a little further down. There we go. That's right. We want him to be really kind of like when Theo's all riled up. Shows his big scary teeth. Shows his big scary teeth. Hey, you little baby, I love you so much I could just explode. Yeah. All right, I'll leave you alone. You're napping. I got to do some sculpting anyway, son. You're so distracting. So I painted my windows in my basement yesterday, which has really done a good number, I think, to make my neighbors think that I'm starting a cult or that I'm a serial killer or I'm a crazy person. Any of those three, I think, is probably something that my neighbors probably would think when they saw me painting my windows. However, I like it. It's good. Don't have to use blinds anymore, and now I can seal that hole in the windows. I gotta tell you, I'm really fucking tired of cutting wood and doing a bunch of manual labor. I want to build little dudes. We're going to use a little bit of foil. And a little bit of green stuff. Now here's a question. Yes, actually. Okay. So if we put that in there, oh hell yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. That probably would have been better as well for these fangs up here, but we'll make that work. Let's put a little bit more green, or not green, super glue in there. And then we're gonna use these slivers, little slivers of metal for the teefies. Come here. They're going to be very pokey. So we got to be careful. We got to know how deep we're wanting that to go. Right about there is where I'm thinking. So let's cut. That is such a small piece of metal. Right there. And then we can feed that into the mouth. A little bit smaller. I just don't want to cut too much. Right there. Yay! Little kitty teeth. Get in the super glue. Son of a bitch. Well, there it is. I didn't want to use that, but here we go. Okay, come on now, wax pen. Get in there, little tooth. Get in the mouth. Son of a bitch. We're going to put super glue on this bed, and then we're going to connect it. Will they have a creepy tongue? So they definitely will have a tongue. I don't know how... yeah, they'll have a creepy tongue. I am wanting them... So they don't have any eyes. Okay, okay, I think I understand how the list building works. Well, not so gently. Will they have a creepy tongue? Probably. Let's see. Probably. Do you think they need a creepy tongue, Adam? I feel like they probably do. I feel like a creepy tongue is pretty good. I know they'll have a tongue visible for sure, as far as how wiggly and stuff it is. They probably do eventually. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if we can see that. It's very, man, that's a pain in the ass to show. So, and it's not where it needs to be. We're gonna need to bend that slightly. Is that one not glued either? Son of a bitch. You're getting the glue, baby. Get in the mouth. Stay still. Quit wiggling. I really don't want to have to do multiple sprays of Zip Kicker. So, okay, there's that. Now, grab this other tooth. And that's gone forever now, so. Son of a bitch. I might have already fucked up. Let's put a little, yeah. I've got a lot of super glue in there. This one, this little shaving. Let's grab this guy. I vote creepy tongue. Honestly, cats' tongues are pretty creepy, and sandpaper. You're right, they are. All right, creepy tongue. A nice, long, creepy kitty tongue. Theo says, what? I don't have a creepy tongue. Honestly, we're going to go on the outside because I don't think I have this in me to keep fucking with that all morning. So this one is going to be growing slightly outside of the mandible. So we will have to adjust that while sculpting. But I don't want to fuck with this all damn day. So this is really, 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 really fiddly. There we go. Alright, for real though, you're about to get Zip Kickered real hard. I might have to take my hoodie off, I think. Getting too hot. Slangor, oh, okay. RE Beastmen. I also believe they've had a years-long plan to roll them into the other Chaos factions when we're working Orgoids slot too well into a copyrightable Mentor slot. Yep. Slangor, Fiend Bloods, and Pestigors drops sort of cement this for me. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It makes sense quite a bit, actually. I think you're very right. Let's Zip Kick it, because I'm fucking tired of it. There we go. Now, let's see if you guys can even see this. This is some bullshittery. For damn sure. Come on. We're getting there. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see those little baby teeth on the lower jaw? They are very, very small, very thin. Yep, kind of see it against my nail. Very small little teeth. Okay, we're going to use those, since they are now glued in place, as a basis to sculpt from. One is in the mouth, one is technically on the outside of that mandible. It's fine. They're gonna work well together. Okay, and now we can start sculpting. Now that we've got our base done. Now we don't want very much green stuff because we're doing teeth. Now remember, Eli, we don't need to make a whole bunch of green stuff, so you can put it in the deep freeze and then not use it tomorrow. That's kind of what I do, but at the same time, it's just like, eventually I'll be like, yep, okay, it's time to go through that green stuff. Often though, I feel like it's just, I know I'm going to be happier if I just do the damn thing. I don't know if we're going to be doing mouths with individually sculpted teeth for all of these, but we might be, just because I have kind of made the mouths separate things and removed a lot of teeth. And so yeah, that's probably good. Now, I need to put some gloves on. Slangors. Slaanesh. Got to make sure we got a balloon glove. Why don't you make some push molds for spare green stuff you've forgotten? Yeah, so I've got a couple of push molds that I've made over the years. One is a turbine. I've got a bunch of little skeletons. The problem is I forget. Oh, well, actually, no, I think I get what you're saying. So like pretty much go through, grab all the green stuff and put it into a push mold. That way, those are sharp. That actually would be a good idea. That's probably something I should revisit and redo. I do have a couple push molds. I think it's just the fact that I've got so many bits and so many little parts. It's like, what do I need to make more of that it would be worth it, but I'd rather the green stuff not go bad. So that's, yeah, no, you're right. I need to do that. And also, we could always use more skeletons, right? I can show you some of the push molds I've got while I make this little green stuff. I think they're still in here. I might not have them even. Nope, here they are. Nope, that's mesh. But the ones that I've used before are, yeah. Nope. I don't know. I don't even know where my push molds are at this point. So yeah, that's going to be a thing that I need to figure out. But yeah, they're pretty much small little copies of the Warcry terrain skeletons that are like kind of nailed against the sides and like chained to pieces of wood. I've got a couple of different little push molds of those. And I've used the little skeletons that can pop out on all kinds of little things. A lot of stuff for base toppers. A lot of my, I'm pretty sure I can show that. Yeah, here's an example. So yeah, there is one of the results of one of my push molds is the back of one of those skeletons. So those are just a set of ribs sticking up out of the ground. This is for my Black Legion army. There we go. Yeah, I've got pretty much the fronts, the backs of those as little press molds. I have no idea where they are though. But yeah, no, you're right. I should use those more. I should utilize that. I don't know where the hell they are though. That's a head. Okay. So, green stuff. Boop. That's way too much, but we'll take just a little piece. That's too much still. There we go. I'll grab another glove. Only got one glove on. Now I'm gonna have two. Holy shit, it's already 8:56. That's too much. All right. That's right. Alrighty. Yeah, this is good. And because of the teeth that we've already got in there, we have a pretty good little foundation to do our sculpting work against. How close can we get before it starts to get crazy? It looks like there. Yeah, hey, there's those little teethies. You can see them. They're very thin though. Very sharp too. There we go. Yeah, now you can see those little teeth. Teeth. So he's gonna have no eyes, 'cause we don't need eyes to see where we're going. My love. Into more time. Going into more time. Gonna find some word stone. Maybe just raid and pillage. We got a couple minutes before the break. I need to drink my coffee. Bam, it's done. Yep, need something a little firmer than that. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, I know that my other taper point is somewhere around here. Son of a bitch. Probably gonna need to do third time was the charm. Finally got the right palette in the right spot. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, possum. It's 9 o'clock. Before I get even more deep into this, I'm gonna go pee. I do have to pee. I'll be right back, guys. Boo doo 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 boo doo boo doo doo doo.
she comes, she's made of bronze and stone. And I'm just fur and teeth and blood and bitter angry bones.
And we're back. And I'm once again gonna have to glue this on. Get in where you're supposed to be, dude. Come on. Alrighty. So I was thinking, it'd be kind of fun. I'm not sure if I want it to be a tongue or if I would like it to be coming from like deeper. But I was thinking almost of like not a proboscis, almost like an entrail, not an entrail, a tube, a long tube that kind of comes out with like a little mouth on it, almost like xenomorph-esque, but like a lot more like just a snake in there. But I don't know, I was thinking about that. That could be pretty fun. It's definitely going to be the weirdest one. You don't get to be a shaman in a beastman tribe, I think, without being a real weirdo. At least the weirdest one. Holy heck. Hilarious Rich Buggy is like decades ahead of Warhammer game design. Oh, really? Finally got the right palette in the right spot. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So why do you say that, my dear possum? I probably assume that you're very correct. Warhammer typically has not got the greatest, but I'm a little biased. There's just so many other games out there. I want a firm one. Also, just to verify and to clarify while verifying, I did use super glue on here while I'm sculpting, but before I went anywhere near it again, I used Zip Kicker to seal that super glue so as not to utterly ruin my clay shapers. Always keep that in mind while working with green stuff, clay shapers, and thinking about using super glue on anything. You can give your models whatever weapon of the same class, one hand, 1.5 hand, or two hand, even if it isn't listed on the entry just by paying additional point. That's rad. It's like making your dudes more how you want your dudes to be. I agree with that. That's definitely a key to, I think, making a game enjoyable. It's not utterly dictating everything that people do, especially with the intention of selling things. That's a key point of good game design and good companies, I think. Definitely would have been easier to sculpt these little teepees without attaching the jaw. However, it would have been a pain in the ass. It's going to be a pain in the ass anyway. I'd rather at least be able to keep the rest of the head and the visual inside at the same time. God, gosh, those little teeth are gnarly. I really, yeah. Have you considered just gluing on some tiny plastic card rods for teeth? You can use them. You can then use the exact shape that file them into points. So I have messed around with that before. And the reason that I wanted these is just they hold their point so well. I really wanted, for the scale and for the size, it's a pain in the ass. But I do think that those are going to be ideal. I think these bigger canines are good being rod. The only thing with styrene is I have a tendency to be a little heavier handed, I think, when I'm sculpting. And I guess I could try to just work on getting better at self-control. But especially while I'm like streaming, I think trying to do it in a way that I know I'm not going to break the styrene and have to start back over is what I was going for. But we'll try that on another one. I've already got these in there, but yeah. It's getting real good. But no, that definitely would probably be quicker. I just don't know if it would be able to hold the same detail for the teeth. I just want, not all of them. I know I'm definitely not going to put this much effort into every one of their little teeth, but for the characters, heroes, at least the ones that are like really important to the overall idea of the group, like the chieftain, the shaman, the minotaur, I really wanted them, I didn't want to cut any corners, and I wanted their teeth to be very, just like, oh shit, look at those. That would suck. Plastic card is less robust. Yeah, that's it. Like this metal, that's foil. This metal it's brass, so it's as far as how thick it is. Come on, damn it. It takes a good amount of force to get it to bend. But it really will not break unless you cut it. So like these little teeth, while they are very, very, very small and they are slightly moving while I'm sculpting, I can bend them back as long as I can get where they are mounted to kind of stay still. And by putting green stuff around there and kind of returning when we're done with this part. Yes, that's good. We can kind of make sure that we're not going to have too many issues of it bending and pulling and going the other way. Yeah, it's just for stability. Any like excessive thing that I do with details, typically to add stability to the model, or to add a detail that I want to be done and not have to worry about it breaking while playing. So many like little knives, little blades, little hooks, those kinds of things. It's a lot less stress for me initially to just, hey, let's make them out of something that I know won't get broken. I just have had too many little pieces get broken while playing or transporting, and by using metal predominantly. I mean, I pin so many parts. It just adds just a little bit more structure. Let's get on the top of that face. We'll come back and do the teeth. I think, whoop. Is that's what I was using. A little bit down here, though. Yeah, you. But that is a good question. And I'm sure you're absolutely right. It would work. I've messed around with plasticard for details for too many things, and then just wish that I had gone with metal. And that absolutely is what led me to doing a lot of stuff with metal. Okay. Now, he's going to need some horns. That's for damn sure. And some ears. Yeah, those teeth are really going to be good. Okay. A little more defined cheekbone. Those little teeth are already starting to look good. we go. It's getting there. Looking more like a kitty skull every bit of the way. I need to put some Vea on my knife. It's getting real sticky. Which means I should do the thing I just said I was going to do and not keep just working regardless. Okay, I'm thinking that looks good. I'm pretty damn happy with that little head. We're gonna let that dry, I think. Let that cure, I guess, is a better, more accurate word for it. But I know we want to add horns, so let's fuck around and find out. Okay. We're going to need some metal rod, and we want it to be pretty malleable. So let's use some copper wire. I normally use this for, where is it? Metal wire. Oh, it's in here. Gotta make sure you got all your stuff where it's supposed to be. So we want something pretty thick. That's 24. That's 20. 20 is what we want. Yeah, 20 is what we want. So, their horns are going to be based on, well, at least influenced, not based on. Going to be very influenced by female does. Female does that have antlers. Antlered does. That's a better, not female does. All does are female. A doe that has antlers. Those are something that I've found very interesting over the years. So, we're going to draw some inspiration from that. Typically, now, of course, once I mentioned it the first time, everybody found a bunch of normal-looking does. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones that look real, like something wrong happened and their skull just looks crazy. So we're gonna try to replicate that. Probably gonna have 6 antlers, that being the sacred sign, sacred number of Slanesh. So we're gonna make 6 little wild, chaotic antlers, horns to be growing out of that beastman's head. So how big is this? the ears are going to be right up there. So this is where we want the antlers, I think. I'm also going to use a sharp knife, so we want this to be pretty accurate. So there's one little spot. Two. I'm going to take this glove off. Yeah, and it's definitely better that we're doing it in this order. I'm supposed to try and do this on the body. I have to put a little nick. Just anywhere that there is a very hard curve to the plastic, it's just more difficult. 5, 6. Got an idea. Let's use that tool that we have. Let's zoom out so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. I'm just applying pressure around where I cut that so we do not have as jagged or blown out of an edge. That looks good. scissors for this part. So. And then we're going to do another one. Okay, see, that's what I was talking about, where it's kind of blown out. Now we're just going to take since it's copper, these are steel, it will bend. We can't shape it. That's going to be real good. Okay, so four more. Four more odd horns. That's good. Okay. Let's see. So they're going to come out of the back. We don't want a real tight circle on this one. We want it to look much more organic and not shaped right. Quote unquote. And we want to pull that to the side. That way it comes out at the angle that we want. Alrighty. Seriously, come on. We need to drill that a hole deeper, I guess. There we go. And the last one. That looks pretty good to me. We might trim. As long as we apply pressure in the right spots, we shouldn't have to worry about breaking it back off. I like that. That's good. Very, very weird looking. So that's going to need to go. Make room right there in the middle. We're also going to remove that little trinket. I don't know what that even is. Let's go ahead and fill that hole. I know I've got some aluminum foil here. I just get, okay. Right there, I thought I smeared Nivea all over the inside of there. I didn't. Let's stuff this down inside that tummy hole. Let's just go ahead and cover that up, since we got some green stuff here that we need to use anyway. We're not going to do any detailing on this, we're just filling that seam in. That needs to be filled, that needs to be filled. Okay. That needs to be trimmed, kind of shaved down. Now I'm happy with that. I like that. Do I want to bend? A lot of these rows I feel like I'm just going to end up cutting off. Good chunk of that's because I feel like I'm going to be happier with the ropes that I can make out of foil. As far as density, texture, that kind of stuff. I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Some little trinkets, little baubles, doodads, as they say. Let me make that work. Can you tell me again about your little vice holder there? It looks very helpful. He ripped it off the Necron's hip socket. Yeah, it does kind of look like. So this is the Display omnidirectional spherical vice. It is pricey. I'm not gonna lie on that, but it is absolutely fucking worth it. Every penny. Yeah, omnidirectional spherical vice. It's absolutely wonderful. It is my favorite vice. It's not my favorite vice. This is my favorite. That's my absolute favorite tool that I own. This gets me so pumped. The only reason I'm not using it is I'm trying to force myself to sculpt directly right here. That way you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm really trying to get better about that. But as far as anything like small, like a head, the head for the Trench Crusade commission I was doing for you guys, or I am still doing for you guys, I sculpted that head on here, or on there. It's good, very good. It also has a little base, so you don't have to hold it in your hand. It's not anywhere near as heavy though. This thing, I cannot stress enough. It would not only be like possible, easy to kill someone with this. This thing is heavy as fuck. I'm trying to think of anything I have around here other than like my Himalayan saltstone amp. I don't think they're, or not amp, lamp. Himalayan saltstone lamp. That might be. And even then, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, no, this thing weighs more. Not a ton more, like not twice as much, but like 1.5 of that like solid, like just fucking big hunk of stone. It's insanely dense. And I cannot stress enough, one of my absolute favorite features, and I've got to unlock it, but I ordered the little knobs, but I don't know where the fuck they are. So once you unlock that, this becomes completely 360 direction rotation, and then once you lock this piece, it no longer spins. It still spins on the base, but you don't have it's just really good for keeping things where you want them and being able to move and work around it. I absolutely adore Display. I've bought a lot of stuff from them now at this point, and the only complaint that I have even remotely is the hobby knife. I wish that it could hold an X-Acto blade. That's my single complaint about everything that I've got from Display. Everything else is just like, yep, it's great, perfect. But I absolutely love this vise. I cannot imagine needing to replace it ever. It's just insanely high quality. And again, I sure as fuck would love to be sponsored by Display. I'm not yet. But yeah, no, he ripped it out of a Necron's hip socket. It really does look and feel like something on that level. Like it's very, very stout, very well made. Everything they make is very, very well machined, and the colors are sexy. Red and black, baby. So yeah, we have got 6 minutes. Not really sure where to go from here in 6 minutes. I am definitely happy. Whoop. Looks like you got poked a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so it's not gonna have eyes. Its eyes have been removed. It has removed its eyes. It's gonna be a very creepy little kitty. Now the question is, are we giving him whiskers? I feel like the answer is yes, but we'll wait until all that is dry, and we'll do the teeth tomorrow. But that definitely has given me a lot to think about as far as how I'm going to go about building the rest. I do think we might do something similar to what I did with Shankly's commission, where essentially I take, and I'm going to try to show real quick what I'm thinking. I don't know if I can do it real quick actually. But instead of taking this and bending it, yep, that just went right through my glove. Instead of taking this, get out of there. What are you doing? You guys trying to make me look bad today? All my tools just working against me. Damn super glue, man. Alright, so instead of taking this and bending it, I might actually try to cut the teeth into the mandible, which is similar to how I made Shankly's chainsaw on the eviscerator. I took essentially one of these and then I cut the shapes of the teeth, and then while holding it in a pair of very, very, very firm pliers, I took another pair of pliers and I bent those teeth in opposite directions. So it would be a very good cutting mechanism. Those are even smaller though than the teeth. They're very pointy. And then the smaller teeth are even smaller. It's going to be hard to say. And how I would do that, let me grab a notebook. I'll just kind of sketch it. It's not, yeah, I got time to sketch. That tore. Yeah, they're supposed to be single use though, right? So, we'll grab this one. So Shankly's chainsaw was like this. And I cut the corners out like that. Well, hold on. Let me try this again. So we had a straight piece, and I wanted them to go like that, like that. So I cut out this part, that part, this part, that part, this part, that part, this part, that part. So then we're left with a bunch of spots cut out of there. So these look like teeth. And then I took the flat part and I essentially grabbed it like that. And then with another pair of pliers, I took each of these little teeth and I bent them. And because it's brass and it's pretty fucking thick, you can bend it quite a bit before it gets even close, just like that. So like this, but on a much smaller scale. You can bend those pretty easily without fear of it breaking. That's probably the closest to it. Just like a little bit of the tip. I grab those, ding, 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 just bending them the opposite ways so it looks like a chainsaw. I also, because it's a chainsaw, I did bend the teeth at an angle, so like each one of the teeth are kind of like that. Anywho, so I might do something like that for the canines on the lower and bottom jaws on these if I am going to replace their teeth, which we've come this far, we might as well. And if I can do it in a pretty systematic way, I think that would be worth it for that detail. The fangs are definitely, oh no, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be good. Those little actual wire points, the music wire, are pretty intense, but most of their fangs are gonna be bigger than that as far as the canines go. And I've only done that on the chieftain and the shaman now, so I think we're still good. It is 10 o'clock though on the dot, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. I gotta go pee again. But thank you guys so much for hanging out and keeping me company. USA Libertarian, Adam, Possum, Roz, come on, Shankly, Adam Mules. I think that's everybody. Yeah, Shankly, Possum, Adam Mules, Roz. Yeah, USA Libertarian. Thank you guys so much. I say it every time. I'll say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. It is finite. You only have so much. The fact that you like to spend it at all with me truly means the world to me. This is just what I love to do. And I know a lot of people have asked me, too many have asked me at this point, how do I do certain things? So I'm just trying to show every single thing in the process, because it's all a very big, often kind of connected in some way in my head process. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you wouldn't be here if you weren't. That's the whole lesson. Use your time the way that you actually want to. But yeah, I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Always sit pretty. Be proud of who you are. And yeah, if you want to support me, you can do so with the fourth wall. Links in the description. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I try not to rant about that stuff, but it helps. It helps other people find me. So helps our little community grow. But thank you guys so much. Again, truly from the bottom of my heart. Until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. Bye, friends.